Seyi, you've worked across global and African space ecosystem, including your PhD at the University of Alabama. Thank you, Dr. Femi, for pointing it out. How has that shaped your perspective on where Africa stands today in space technology?
Like we know, Africa is the cradle of humanity. But when it comes to space science and technology, we are not where we are expected to be. But the good news is that the Africans, are awake now, and we, from Africans, we are trying to take over. We are trying to catch up with all the rest of the world in terms of space science and technology education. Because that's where it starts from. If you're able to empower your citizenry, then they will be able to come back to give back to the system that has produced them. And that's what we are seeing in Project D.A.W.N. Dr. Femi is from Nigeria. He worked in the Nigeria Space Agency. He had opportunity to go to the United States for his PhD program. And now is a CEO and a founder of satellite technology solution provider, and is thinking of giving back to the system that has produced him. That is very, very laudable. And that's the spirit of Africa. And that's one of my passions also, to be able to give back to Africa. Especially, we have some Africa that are doing very well all over the world. Nigerian Space Agency now is coming on board, and we have launched about 6 satellites. Nigerian Sat-1, Nigerian Sat-2, Nigerian Sat-3, they are all remote sensing satellite. We have communication satellite, Nigeria, NICOMSAT-1, NICOMSAT-1R, and we participated also in EduSat. I believe that the future belongs to Africa, and the Africans will take the bull by the horn. Thank you.
I love that, and definitely aligns with the mission for Project D.A.W.N, which is the orbital sovereignty, as what Dr. Femi was presenting just now. So we often hear that Africa still relies heavily on foreign-owned satellite infrastructure, as what Dr. Femi was pointing out earlier. What does that actually mean in practical terms of countries and communities?
Well, thank you for the question. You learn how to run by first knowing how to walk. The space arenas, the space ecosystem is actually dominated by the Western world, the US, the Russia, the Europe, initially. But now the Africans are participating in the space ecosystem. The likes of Nigeria, the likes of Ghana, the likes of South Africa, and some other, evolving countries in Africa. I believe that in the long run, this technology, the digital divide, the gap will be mitigated against. And now that we are trying to catch them young by bringing some of these projects to campuses, to university campuses in Africa, our students are getting very excited. They want to take it from where we have stopped or where we are and take it to the greater level. And I think that's positive for Africa. The spirit, the passion, the energy to want to catch up with the rest of the world, as demonstrated by our youth, is very, very laudable. And I think in the next 10, 20 years, the Africans will be able to build their own satellite. Like you said, most of the satellites we have launched by Africans or by African countries, they are actually built in the Western world. But I think Project D.A.W.N is going to answer some of those questions, that why can't we design, build, test, and launch our satellite from African soil and launch them on African soil by African, African engineers and scientists. And I think that's where Project D.A.W.N is going to, fix the gap, the divide that we have always identified with Africa. Thank you.
I want to hear about the growing conversation about a skill gap between academic training and real industry requirements. What are you seeing on the ground?
Wow, that's a good question. good enough. I've been in academia for the past, I started my career as a lecturer in the university in 2001 to 2008 before I joined the space industry. That's when I had opportunity to go to the United States for my second master's degree and PhD. There's a lot of gap between what is taught within the university and what is required by the industry. It only takes a professor that have been in the industry to teach what's going to be required in the industry within the university system. So there's a mismatch between what the curriculum in the university and what is actually needed in the industry. But now with some crop of people like Femi and myself that are still faculty members, because I still teach actively in the university, and I bring the wealth of experience from the industry to bear. So with this crop of professors that are coming up, we believe now that we are going to re-engineer some of the curricula so that what we teach in the university will be much relevant to what is applicable in the industry. Thank you. Satellite is just a man-made object that revolves another bigger object. That's what a satellite is. Like Moon is a natural satellite revolved in the Earth, and a satellite is just like putting an eye in the sky. If the sensors is what gives you probably the imagery or whatever you have. So what am I saying in a nutshell is that the satellite itself is something that is not really difficult to do. If you have the technology, if you have the expertise to actually teach it the way it should be taught, it's not actually very difficult to do. And now that some of us have gone through what we know as technology know-how transfer, because when Nigeria built its first, second, third satellite at Surrey Technology, Surrey in England, some of my colleagues participated in the hands-on training. And now some of them are now directors with the space agency. They have both the theoretical and the practical exposure to how to build satellites. And it's not that very difficult. So my background is really diverse. I'm into rocketry technology. I'm into applied computational fluid dynamics. I'm into satellite communications and the subsystems of a satellite. I've been teaching this for many years. And now they have opportunity to pass the knowledge across to the younger ones and also to mentor them. I think it's a great deal for me. It's one of the ways I can fulfill my life ambitions. Like we said the other time, to duplicate and replicate myself, especially from this part of the world. So it's a kind of excitement. And I believe these students are ready to catch up. They are ready to learn and they are ready to be mentored. So I know in the course of time, we'll be very proud of them. And I'll be very proud of myself for being able to train other young scientists and engineers from African soil. Thank you.
I love when you said that there's a knowledge and know-how transfer, and that definitely will be resonated to students honestly across the world. I'm forever learning, and I'm deeply humbled. I really love what you said there. So I want to focus on future lens, Africa in rising. So we're seeing more countries across Africa launching satellites and building programs. What gives you the most optimism about where things are headed right now?
Wow, that's a very good question. Like I said, the future belongs to Africa, because I told you I'm so excited that Africa, as it is the cradle of humanity. Even civilization starts from Africa, if you care to know. That's in
Yep.
Egypt. Aha. So now that Africans is taking the leadership role in science and science and technology education, and also in space-related industries. We're so excited in Africa. I can speak for my colleagues in South Africa and other African countries. The passion, the investment, the expertise that are coming from this part of the world is very, very alarming. It's very, very exciting, because that's the way development actually comes. when people are excited, when people are passionate, when people are ready to invest, the governments are now investing in space science and technology. And now we cannot just wait by the side to see what is going on in the space ecosystem. We are now becoming players in the space ecosystem. That gave back to our African Space Agency that came on board last year. You can see the crop of space scientists and engineers that are coming together to redefine what we used to know about Africa. And with this developments, it's just a matter of time. We are going to take over from this part of the world, and they will be able to compete favorably with people from other parts of the continent. Thank you very much.
You made a lot of good points. Thank you, Dr. Seyi. Obviously, absolutely no-brainer that we have somebody like you to be on board Project D.A.W.N because it brings together industry, universities, in a lot of institution. How important is this kind of collaboration for building a sustainable space ecosystem in Africa, such as Project D.A.W.N?
Well, that's a very good question. For meaningful development to take place, there is need for synergy, there's need for collaboration, there's need for interface between the academia, the industry, and the investors. Now, we are now having the three coming together. Public-private partnership, the investors are ready to put in the money, the students are eager to learn, the mentors are ready to impart the knowledge. So if all these things come together, it's a great win for this space ecosystem in Africa. So the collaboration is actually very needed. And I think that's what Project D.A.W.N is all about. Like Dr. Femi said the other time, the investors, they are waiting. We, the professors, we are ready. And the students also, they are excited. So if all these things come together, it's going to be a great achievement for this kind of project. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Seyi. We're going to close this conversation. I'm going to ask you one last question. For our young engineers who are watching our podcast, thank you for tuning in. What should they focus on today if they want to be part of Africa's space future?
That's a very good question. I always want to motivate, educate, inspire my students. So for all students that have opportunity to listen to this podcast, I want to encourage you to be at your best in whatever you are doing, because space ecosystem is not only for scientists and engineers. We have space lawyers, we have space administrators. There's virtually no discipline that will not be relevant in the space ecosystem. So what students need to know is that they must be at their best and be ready to learn and be able to be tutored and be mentored, especially by the expert in the space arena. It's high time we left all the theoretical background, just teaching, evolving the curriculum that will not actually make an impact. Then we move to what is really needed, the information that is needed at the right time, and the mentorship is very, very important in the training and in the hands-on skill that students can acquire in the course of their tutelage within the university system. So all students should be ready to learn, unlearn, and relearn in their course of study. Thank you.
I love that. For your guidance and for your inspiration and for your mentorship. And thank you for having this conversation with me. And then I hope to see you soon, Dr. Seyi.
Thank you, Valerie.